All right, Unique Mecca audio here, man. We're going to speak on the BG situation. So I went to reach out to one of what I call my big homies. He not from New York. He from D.C. He's the elder. We respect him. It don't matter where you from. If they stand for your morals and principles and the code, then they're your homie. They're not just your homie because they're from your geographical location. Let's get that straight. Now I'm going to bring him up and we're going to get right to the point of this so we can see what's going on. All right. Tell them who you are, where you from, and how much time you did, Red.
My name is Big Rez. I'm from Southeast Washington, D.C. I did 39 years.
Okay. Now, so you was in the feds for decades.
True that.
Okay. So we got a situation that's going on that I want the youngins to understand what this is all about. Now, what's going on is it's a young rapper that was driving in a car with two of his homies. He was the driver. His man that was in the back, when they get pulled over, they wound up finding a gun, and the man in the back claimed the gun, said it was his at the scene of the crime. Now, when they go to the police station, he also claimed the gun and said it was his. They must have had some kind of discussion about it, but he claimed the gun. Now, when he claims the gun, he winds up in federal custody, and the driver, who's the rapper, he allegedly paid for his lawyer. So he put in, and the lawyer told him he was looking at 1 to 2 years. But then when he went to court, of course, they gave him 6 to 7 years. He gets to the feds and he goes to the law library. Well, somebody took him to the law library and told him, let me look at your case. Yo, you could have beat that, they told him. You didn't have to claim that gun. That, you know, you could have fought this and beat it. So he took his plea back, calling conflict of interest. Conflict of interest is when, you know, one lawyer represents two of the same people, or they have the same interest in hand, because you don't know who they standing behind. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be whoever put the money up. So the rapper put the money up. So they looked at it like it was the rapper's interest that the lawyer had in hand. So he filed conflict of interest and ineffective assistance of counsel, because the lawyer told him he was looking at 1 to 2 years. That must have been what he was looking at in the state. But when he got picked up to the feds, it turned into 6 years. But he gave his comrade at the scene of the crime and in the police station his word that he was going to claim that gun and do the time. Now he winds up with 6 or 7 years, more than what he expected to get. So he takes his plea back. When he takes his plea back, he comes out, he's in the feds, and then the rapper was subpoenaed to go to court twice. He didn't go to both times, but then he wound up going to the grand jury, and he repeated the same thing that his comrade, you know, told him, and whatever it is that they agreed on, where the comrade said he was going to claim the gun. Now, when he does that, when he got arrested, they put on a piece of paper, like a statement from the police, said that, you know, the driver and the passenger is not being charged, but they'll be willing to testify if need be. So we know once that goes into the feds, it depends on who's looking at it, who's on his side, you know, to see if he could explain that, no, it said that I would testify, but my co-defendant is the one that told me that he was going to claim the gun, and he claimed the gun, and he did the time for it. So no, I didn't testify, but they put in the paperwork that I would testify. So you already know what would happen if that piece of paper hit the compound. Let's take this one at a time, Red.
I think in a situation like that, we got to weigh the pros and the cons, right? And me personally, you know, I stand on justice. I stand on what's right. Just based upon what you shared with me, the guy in the back seat who initially took the weight of the gun, right? Then that's what he got to stand on, right? Whether it's 1 to 3, 6 to 7, 10 to 30, life, or whatever the fuck. He signed on for that shit, right? He agreed that he took ownership for the gun. So it's his gun, right? Later on, from my understanding, you're trying to shave off 2, 3 motherfucking years, right? That's not what you signed on for, right? So with that said, the driver and the other people who assist them saying, if we need you, that you would testify to the guy taking ownership of the gun. It all depends on, who ran this situation, right? Whether you like LeBron James or Steph Curry, right? But it ain't but one motherfucking truth, right? And the truth is that the dude took the rap for the gun, right? And he was influenced or told, or he learned something in the law library that he didn't have to take the jump, that it could go another way. So now the question is, if he denouncing the fact that he was the culprit who took the gun charge, now what are you gonna say? I didn't take it. I'm not implying no motherfucking thing. The facts is they on the table, man. And truth be told, in this thorough gangster street code shit, right? To a lot of civilians and square motherfuckers, you ain't gonna never understand these rules.
Hey,
Right.
Red, excuse me. Try not to use the MF word because I want the youth to hear this to understand. Okay, let me come on. Finish
Right.
what you think.
And I apologize for using profanity, but I'm true to this. I mean, I'm retired now, right? But a lot of years have been wasted, right, for a code and morals and principles of the street that don't nobody honor no more, you know. So I wouldn't advise anybody who won't go down that path, that road of the street code thing, right? Unless you're willing, to deal with the consequences of that, right? But like I said, I don't know the individuals in this gun incident that we speak on, right? What his intentions were, I have no idea, right? But if you leave it up for grab and speculation and assumption, you know, the question remains is if he took his agreement back, what path, what road is he gonna go now? You know, man, it's a lot to this, and I've been thinking about it seriously, right? And like I tell you all the time, I ain't gonna sell my soul for a jelly roll, you know. But whatever you agree upon, you sign on to. That's what you stick to. The script. It can't be altered, tainted, or nothing else, man. Whether it's 1 year or life in prison, those are the consequences, and it's an end game. And we all know it's the flip side. And so, if you're not willing to go down that road, then I tell you all the time, McDonald's is hiring. You can flip some hamburgers, right? And not have your name and your reputation tarnished in them streets, right? Because there's rules to this game and it might cost you or you have to pay a price, you know. So I would suggest that anybody playing games in them streets reconsider staying in school or become a carpenter, a brick mason or something. Get out the streets because when you roll over and you do things that's unspeakable, you involved a lot of people in that game. Right? On you home.
So that's what it is. So y'all understand that's about the paper. Now, once that paper come in there because he agreed to take it. So now after he does that, Red, the driver goes to the grand jury and he testifies to the grand jury about the gun being his comrade's gun because his comrade gave his word he was going to claim that gun, right? So now after he testifies, now it comes out on social media and they saying that the young rapper, is hot. because he testified on his thing. What's your feedback on that? I want you to give them your honest feedback on that from your stance, from the street stance, from the code.
Okay, I think words, we get caught up in linguistics, right? And the record speak for itself, right? So say it was me, and they called me in front of the grand jury, pushed my arm, brought me up there, unfeathered me or whatever. Then only thing I can do is attest to the fact of what the record stipulate, right? He took the rap, he said it was his gun, right? Yesterday. So why is it not his gun today? Right? I don't think the driver, the rap guy, right, is a rat for simply telling the system, the prosecutor, the grand jury. Really, if it was me, I don't have anything to say. The record reflects everything. They got the records, they got the statements, right? So I really don't have to defend and represent anything. You know what I mean? Because it's clear cut, right? So you can't say somebody you did something today and you switch up later on and say no, it was Unique who did it, him and Rez, right? Because that's the story you could have told in the beginning, right? So I don't frown on the guy. I would simply I guess presentation, right? And your deliverance, how you talk, what you say can keep you out of scrutiny, right? Question, any statement or your character, any of that, right? But your word, man, that's all you got, in them streets. And a lot of people got, some receipts on guys, right? Some question marks on your back, right? So I would have simply said, like I said, let me reiterate that, man, the record reflect, anything that was said from the time the car was pulled over or the gun was found or whatever, right? So it's nothing that I could say, to add no credence to, no clarity to what was said yesterday, today, on you, baby.
Okay, so that's what it is, because the thing is, they're trying to decide on social media whether the young man, the rapper, is a rat or not. We know that if we called in, we're not going to assist the government in anything. Whatever they got doing their investigation is what they got. And if that was me called up there, I would simply say, yo, I don't know why I'm called up here. I don't know what is going on. Like you said, I don't have anything to say about it. I plead the fifth or whatever they want to call it. Right. So that's where we at with that. So now what we're dealing with now is what would happen, right? Just giving a hypothetical. This young man that was in the back seat, the one that claimed the gun, was on the compound with other dudes from his hometown of Louisiana. He was in Pollock and other places. And while he was there, he never told anyone that this rap guy went to the grand jury and that he was a rat, right? So now that he never told anyone that he was a rat, how would that play out to the other men that was around this rap guy when they find out that he did go to the grand jury and he's an alleged rat, and the young man that was in the back that said he was going to claim the gun changed his mind and didn't claim the gun, knew that he was an alleged rat, as he's calling him now, and he didn't tell the car what that is, and then the car find out that he was harboring this dude's secret that he went to the grand jury. How would that play out in the federal system? Red, in your own words, you could go in detail, because I know they don't really understand. I understand, but I want you to break it down.
Okay. To claim a guy as a rat, let's call it a coat, right? All coats don't fit. Just because somebody put a bone on your coat on your back, it may not fit, right? And so now are the people who weigh the pros and cons, you know, uh, are they official? Are they able and capable? Do they really know the game to be able to come up with a rational conclusion? Because if they don't, it could very well cost a man his life. He's not going to stay on no yard if he got a tag and a label on him, right? So we got to really consider who we bring to the round table to really break this thing down and be unbiased about it, right? Not because the dude got $2, $3. You know, on them yards, dude's more inclined to lean towards somebody who got some paper or got that bag, right? Versus a dude that don't have nothing and he's standing on principles. But like I said, I don't see um, that situation. You know, like a lot of times, them dudes they look at paperwork and they read into what they want to read into it. Like I told you about the LeBron and the Steph Curry. All depends on who's your hero or who you like, right? And you kind of deviate away from all the facts. And in doing so, I mean, seriously, you can cost a man his life, right? And that bone, that coat you put on him is going to follow him everywhere he go, right? You can kill because a bone is on you. Does that mean you're trying to silence somebody or you're doing it because it's not true, right? So it's a catch-22, you know, you're trapped inside that, right? And see, with time, in a time called past, right, they didn't always do paperwork, right? So if an honorable dude, a stand-up dude said that a man did something that was improper, then they would act on that, on his word alone. Now, I was in a situation, or I was in, not my situation, but I was in a joint where a guy put a bone out on a dude and said he was a rat. And it took years to come out. And they stabbed this dude up, I mean, short of death. Come to find out, the guy who put the bone out on him actually did it because while he was in the joint, he heard or came to learn that the guy was sleeping with his wife, right? So you really got to get into who's telling the story, man. You know, you know, and like they say, you know, you got your truth, my truth, and you got the truth. You know, everybody got a story to tell, but it ain't but one truth, right? But just like I said, based upon what you just shared with me, um, I don't see no indication that the driver, the rap dude, I wouldn't categorize him as a rap for telling the grand jury to simply, like you said, look at the facts, right? The statements that were made. I really don't have to say nothing, right? Because, like I said, the truth, it supports itself, right? And the guy made a statement. Came to find out he was getting a little more time than what he was. So that's a real delicate situation. But like I said, you know, like I say, the youngins, I ain't true to this. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this, right? So a lot of people stand up in the ranks until the wrath fall. That's why they say a man knows not his strength without a foe. And so you're going to be tested in that penitentiary, right? And you better stand up. So to avoid all that, coming off the street, because it's gonna get ugly. right? And I'm gonna let you ride with that, Unique.
All right, all right. So that's what it is. So now where we at with this is, you know, social media is trying to dictate whether the young man is a rat or not a rat. And it's up to y'all to put in the comments what you think about it. And we're really just breaking it down. But I'm going to let you know this. Once you give your word, once you give your word to your comrade, there is no taking it back, because the feds took 26 years of my life from me that I served in federal prison. And the only thing they didn't take from me was my word, because I'm the only one that controls what come out my mouth. So if I tell my comrade, I'm going to claim the drugs, the gun, the robbery, the whatever, there is no going back on that, because I gave my word and I fall on my sword before I let my word fail. So anyone that watching this that don't agree with what I'm saying right now, I say you're on the right path to being an upstanding citizen. Get your job, go to school, get your trade, and stay out the street, because it's an ugly, dirty game. And all we have is our morals and principles, and that's what we stand on. The feds could not take my word from me. They couldn't make me plead guilty or testify against my comrade unless I chose to plead guilty, and would never testify against my comrade. Let's get that straight. Because I mentioned in a video yesterday or the day before about how me and a young man was in a car with a gun and had the same situation. And he tried to claim the gun from when we first got arrested, the same as Contrell Washington did. And I had the bag, I'm paying for the lawyer. So I told the lawyer, postpone the case so he could have time to think about his choice, because I don't want him to make a decision because I'm standing here, or for whatever reason. I want him to have time to think about it and know that whatever decision he makes, that's what he's going to stand on. So they postponed it for a week. I stayed away from him from that whole week. When I was with this kid 24 hours, that was my right-hand man, but we got caught with a pistol, and it was my pistol. You understand? And he was willing to take it. They was offering me 5 to 15, and he's never been arrested. So he was looking at a year on the barge on Rikers Island. I could have said, yeah, take that to get out of it. But no, I don't want a man to give up his freedom for me without feeling that I'm worthy of it in my heart. And he could stand on his decision in his heart. So I put a pause on everything with the lawyers, and we went back the following week. And I still didn't want him to take that. I spoke to his mother about it. His mother broke it down to me, because she's an old gangster, rest in peace. His mother broke it down and said, look, you on the rise, you getting money, you taking care of us. If you go to jail, everything done, we all broke, we all back to square one. If he go to jail, he'd be out in 8 months off that year, 10 months tops. And you could take care of us till then, take care of him till then, continue to rise, and we could all live happily ever after. And I said, but Ma, it was my gun. And Ma said, son, in the streets, sometimes we have to be sacrificial lambs in order to let the big load go by. So she was willing to let her son be a sacrificial lamb for me as the big load to continue to move. So the following week, we go to trial. We go down there to the court. By the time I walk in the courtroom, they handcuffing him and taking him out, and my lawyer telling me I'm a free man. It broke my heart to watch my man being put in the handcuffs, period, much less for my gun, So when I leave, I go back to see his mother. As soon as I go see his mother, I walk in the room. And as soon as I see her, I broke down in tears and hugged her. And she told me, man up, We talked about it. He had a good dinner. He spent the night here. He knew what he was walking into. This is how the street is played. His mom was 100% gangster. Rest in peace to his mom. Rest in peace to his mom. You know, rest in peace. You know, but that's the way that worked, man. You know, so this is just to let y'all know how serious this is. That's why we say don't get involved in the streets so you don't have to put yourself in this situation whatsoever. You understand? Now, Big Red, I'm gonna ask you a question. You know, I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think about what I just said? First of all, maybe you want to add on to that or say something about that.
You know, the phraseology jump, right? Like, I feel you because we done talked 1,000 times. But truth be told, right? Like words, they're like bullets to the gun. Once you pull the trigger, you can't call them back, right? And the superficial lamb situation, right? Sometimes before something can live, something got to die, right? That's a fact, right? So sometimes you got to take one for the team, right? And so if I was in a situation and financially speaking, I wasn't able to take care of the mass, the crew, somebody got to take the lick, take the fall, right? And for the better of everybody, right? So if I ain't got a dime and you got $2, it's stand the reason that I would take the beef, right? Because we locked in on an agreement. That was understood. It was carved in stone when the dude took the gun beef, that he was going to be looked after, right? In the event that I go to the penitentiary 5, 10, 20 years, and you don't never show up, you know, you don't help my mother celebrate Mother's Day, my son don't get no Christmas toys, then I see you when I see you, right? But the system, the police, they don't play no role, no part in this because you and I have locked in on an agreement, right? I'm gonna take the rap, right? That's my part of the end, and you just look out, you know. I understand a lot that you say, it has some validity to it, right? Cold blooded, and I know you're a tad bit younger than me, but the rules they don't never change. And I spoke before about the 10th Commandments and Moses. That was 2,000-3,000 years ago, and we still honor them today. So the street code, man, you know, the street don't love nobody, Slim. They don't, right? But individuals that you mold into a circle of family, right? And that's what we got to honor, you know, the friendship and the word and the code that we live by. And once you break that code, then it's fair game. All right, Unique, go ahead.
You see what I'm saying? Fair game. Just so you understand, because the agreement was made between two comrades, not a comrade and his comrade and the system. So going to the grand jury is out the question. I'm not going to offer any information to the grand jury because, it is what it is. What's spoken is what it is because we control what come out of our mouth. They hated me in the federal system. Red was there with me. The administration hated me because the way I carried myself, because I would tell the unit manager, the warden, whatever I felt that you wrong, I deserve to go to a medium. Screw all that. I allegedly stabbed 2 police in 95, and I did time in 80X, and I was allegedly selling drugs on every compound that I was on, and I did all that. You didn't catch me. You catch me, you penalize me. Why you penalizing me? Because you couldn't catch me for what I allegedly did. And I'm going to tell you straight up, Mr. Unit Manager, Mr. Warden, I don't like you, but I'm man enough to tell you in your face I don't like you. But are you man enough to tell me in my face that you don't like me? And that's where I label you a coward. Because it's just me and you in here. And I'm telling you I don't like you. So don't sit here and try to act like we cool, but I can't send you to a FCI, to a medium because this and that. Just say I don't want to send you there because you allegedly stabbed 2 of my officers. You opened up ADX. You sold drugs on every compound you was on. Tell me you don't like me for that. Now is your chance to be a man. Until you could do that, I would never respect you as a man. And they hated me. Big Red is right here. He saw the way I carried it when I was there. If I'm saying anything wrong, let me know, Red.
Now, you're on point.
You understand? Just so you understand. Because we control what come out of our mouth and we take the consequences to our actions, whether it's verbal or physical. Because if I decide to put the Bethel hand, as Bunky Pound says, in a dude, that's my choice. And whatever comes with that goes with that. And if they tried to lock up my homeboy for being a part of it, I would say, no, I did that. Like, let me ride for a minute, Red. This is where we ride. We ride for a minute. Red. We ride. I'm in Lewisburg. Let me take this one. I'm going to take the stage on this one. Right? Now, I'm in Lewisburg. A young lady came to see me and she bought up some balloons of marijuana. She never made it in the visiting hall. She went to Willie's Lounge. Y'all remember Willie's Lounge. She went to Willie's Lounge because the van was picking her up at 3:30 in the morning. So she figured she'll go to the club and then come from the club straight to get on the van, and had the van pick her up at Willie's Lounge on 125th Street between Frederick Douglass and St. Nick. Now, when she gets to the place, she fell asleep at the rest stop where they normally pull over at the rest stop so the females could wash up, put on their makeup, and get fresh like 10 minutes from the prison and then go into prison. They get to the prison, she get there and she forgets she got the balloons in her pocket. So when she starts walking in, she remembers the balloons and she panics and she takes the balloons and she, puts them in her boots. She walked through the metal detector. The boots had spurs on it, so the metal detector went off and started ringing. When the metal detector went off and started ringing, they told her to take her boots off, and here goes the balloons rolled down in their face. They grab her. I'm still in the unit. They picked me up from the unit, took me straight to the lieutenant office, never went to the visiting hall, and put me in the shoe. 3 days later, the SIS, that's a security investigation service in the prison, came to see me, and they said, you tried to introduce drugs into the prison. I said, I don't know nothing about no drugs coming into prison. Well, your visitor came and they had 7 balloons on them. I said, I don't know nothing about that. They said, look, you doing life in jail. So it makes no sense for us to prosecute you, but we want to prosecute her because she's a stenographer and she works for the city of New York. And, we'll let you out the hole right now if you just say that you told her to bring the marijuana. I said, look, I don't know nothing about her bringing no marijuana. I don't know nothing about her having no marijuana. The girl don't even smoke that I know about. You know what I mean? They said, oh, you're going to play it that way? They said, look, you're not going to get charged. We're going to charge her with conspiracy to bring drugs on the federal grounds. And we're going to let you go. And we'll send you to a medium. And this was at the beginning of my bid when everybody prayed to get to a medium. And I refused it. They kept me in the hole for 60 days, and then they let me out. Now, when they let me out and I got back to the compound, they told me, well, that girl could never come see you for the rest of your life because you're doing life with no chance of parole and she's banned from your visiting list. I just looked at him and said, but she didn't get a charge. So screw you. I'll write her and I talk to her on the phone. But I'm not going to screw that girl's life up to try and help you to make my stay in your prison any better, because no matter where you put me, I'm still doing time. I'm still buying time to die. And they looked at me like I was crazy. They never had a man tell it to them as real as that, Now, Big Red,
Hey.
give us a scenario of something of that magnitude, of that situation that happened over your time. Tell them what year did you go to jail? How old was you? And how old was you when you came out? And what year you came out? So they know who they're really talking to. I should have did this at the beginning.
Initially, man, I went to penitentiary at 19, right? And that was in the year 1973. On that course of time, I came to the realization that there was absolutely nothing more important to me than my freedom, right? So I may have escaped about 5 times, right, in the name of liberation, right? That was my birthright, you know. They wanted to take my life forever. And so I plotted, schemed, manipulated, and each attempt I became more sophisticated. And they say, shit, he good at what he do, but we good at what we do too. So we're gonna send him to the feds. The feds offered a different level of security, right? With no support system. Escaping was almost a fading dream type thing, right? So anyway, uh, after my last capture off escape, I did 39 straight. But had I not escaped the many times that I did, I would probably did close to 50 years. So now I know you got to wonder, God damn, what did he do to stay in prison so long? Well, I didn't sell drugs. I'm not a rapist. Um, I didn't kill nobody that I know about anyway. And I took some money, and they in turn took my life. So what I question, Unique, really is society and how they would put more emphasis and value on the $2, $3 that I took versus people being convicted for 2, 3 murders, do 20 years and come home. So I did 39. And I saw that as an injustice, right? Um, I've seen many cases where dudes had to step up to the plate and lay it down and do time for crimes they didn't commit and remain silent, you know. And that's just how the game go, right? Those are the rules that we live by. And I know, you know, a lot of people don't understand those rules. And so, such as myself, you know, I ain't getting no younger. So, do I got 20 more years in me? Right? And I ain't being funny, Unique. When you called me today, I was doing a scratch off, Smith. I said, man, you know,
The old man thing, huh?
well, I'm doing old man, no joke. I said, man, I got to try to come up. You feel me? And so I got to get off the street. Like I said, either the system break you and you become a rat, or you break yourself and you live an honorable life. You might not live as plush as you once did, but you're free. You're breathing freedom's air. Women are beautiful out here. You understand? So, you know, man, for all the youth and the young who's listening to this, man, I'm saying, you know, what I'm really trying to advocate is the fact that, like, don't think that they did it to me, that they won't do it to you. Right. And it got to be, and I don't want to get into no political aspect, but a lot of this stuff is by design, right? You know, you can call it genocide, you can call it whatever you please, but a lot of the young, you know, the senseless crimes and the beefing, you know, about street corners and females, and you know, it really don't add up, man, in the scheme of things, right? And shit, 39 years in the joint. I'd went and got a job at McDonald's. I'd have been the manager by now. You understand? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yo, listen, Red. We've been on here long enough, man. Let them know about your book that's getting ready to come out, Red.
Oh man, I got a joint called Gangsters Cry Too. Because it was alleged that men cry in the dark. So that's where that concept came from with me. And I done been in some cells with some Genghis Khan, gorillas, killers, all that other stuff. And I done heard some sniffing at night. You did. You know, so that's where I got that idea from. And I really want to show that it is honor amongst thieves in my writing, because the system and the world, you know, would depict that, it's no honor amongst thieves, but they are. It is. And the honorable thing to do if you're into that game is to keep your mouth shut and take your licking. And so I've been told that my book is a good reader. And that's my passion. That's my love, writing. And I want to get out there. I want to make some noise. Who the hell know? I might be the next, 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? But I'm out there home. Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up, man.
So that's what it is, man. Just want y'all to understand, man. Right now, I copped the book of Raw in Harlem. We got Big Red's book getting ready to come out, so that you could hear from the mind of an ex-gangster about the codes and that men do cry in the dark, as he said. If y'all want part 2 to this, y'all let me know. And, I'm thinking about bringing Red up to break down the street code when I do the street code, because I'm a little aggressive, because I'm a little angry at what I'm seeing on social media. So, Red said, man, you scared the people off. I said, no, I'm scaring the people off from a life of crime, not from off my channel. The rat bastards, they have every right to take these gunshots and get off my channel because they don't belong here. But the ones that's on the fence and want to do better, I hope I'm scaring you to stay on the straight path. And on that note, we're going to tap out. That's me and Big Red. We did what we had to do, man. All right. That's what it is.